I grew up in New York City.
New Haven, Connecticut.
Denver, Colorado.
Born in Moldova.
In Israel.
Boston.
Frankfurt, Germany.
Baltimore, Maryland.
Brooklyn, New York.
The Bronx.
I remember when somebody asked me, how come that there's so many people from the East out here? I said, because that's as far west as you can go.
Coming to California was an opportunity to start over.
Always had wanted to move to California.
I wanted a Shabbat community.
I wanted to start an internet company.
Moving from the East Coast to the Bay Area was difficult.
Not originally in any way an enthusiast.
It's certainly a struggle here to participate Jewishly.
On Passover, you couldn't find a store that sold matzahs.
I hated it the first 6 months.
A little more spread out, a little more hidden sometimes.
A little bit more challenging to find it.
I struggled. I went to different shuls and services.
Once you find them, it's family all over again.
San Francisco soon felt like home.
And then I felt so free when I came to the Bay Area. There was this incredible openness.
My idea of bohemian heaven.
Hippies and peace and love.
Just a little bit of less pressure.
I was myself. I was in my element.
That's a very special kind of environment.
We're on a kind of frontier here.
We loved the interest in innovation.
Community of people who are seeking out the
There
future.
are people looking for something new.
No one's looking down on anybody, and no one's tisk-tisking.
That has transformed my life.
California was incredibly good to my family.
We have this homegrown family now.
It is where I belong.
Here, who wants to fight? We're living in paradise.
My name is Gelsher Calmensen. I was raised in New York City, in the Bronx, in a Jewish community, in a house where my mother kept kosher and my father went along with it.
I'm Charlie Varon. I am a playwright, performer, director.
I went through 4 years of workman circle school and then to Talmud Torah at a synagogue, at a conservative synagogue. And then for about a year, I became frum myself and became part of Young Judea. And then we moved to California, and all of that fell apart.
I've lived in San Francisco for about 30 years, but I'm a New Yorker by birth. I had a bar mitzvah. I went to Hebrew school. We celebrated the holidays in a fashion.
When I moved to the Bay Area, it was the time of the committee in North Beach. It was a time of the Haight-Ashbury kind of coming into existence.
Well, San Francisco in the late 1970s was my idea of bohemian heaven. At that time, I was paying $70 a month rent for a very nice room in the Mission District. And you did not have to spend every waking hour of your day chasing money.
I opened a little shop, a little print shop on Pacific Avenue, and printed for the North Beach artistic community.
San Francisco soon felt like home, like a kind of place where I could explore and become who I wanted to be. It just seemed artistically like an incredible place, wide open.
The thing that was interesting to me about San Francisco at that time was that there was lots of room for trying things that were out of the box. And the freedom appealed to me, and the risks appealed to me.
I spent about 3 years on a solo play called The People's Violin. The play became a whole exploration of what is tribe, what is Jewish identity, who's in, who's out.
I took 10 years out to get involved with a place called Esalen Institute, which was kind of a think tank and an experimental center for new ideas in psychology, somatic therapy, and religion. So for about 30 years, I practiced in Buddhism, but culturally, all my friends, all my connections were centered in Judaism.
After that play had finished its run is what led me back to exploring Judaism for myself, and took me to Torah study at Or Shalom.
And then met a woman that I was very interested in, who became now my wife. And she was very involved in the Jewish world. And because I was interested in this woman, I decided to study up on on Judaism again.
So that play led me back to Judaism. And then the play after that was the fruit of my exploration.
In the year 2000, I went to Israel as part of a fellowship program in Jewish family education. And at Yad Vashem, in the company of my friends and fellow students, I realized that I had never come to terms in myself with the facts of the Holocaust.
And for the next 4 years, I began creating or channeling or whatever this play about a rabbi who wanted to turn American Judaism on its head, who wanted a Judaism that would be compelling, that would be like jazz, an improvisation on tradition.
And I realized that I was not giving my students an experience that would lead them to a different outcome.
He begins with this little line from Torah, Ehiyeh, Asher Ehiyeh, where this is Moses asking God at the burning bush, by what name shall I call you? And God says, Ehiyeh, Asher Ehiyeh, I will be as I am becoming.
So we created a little program that we tried out where a child who was studying for Bar and Bat Mitzvah would remember a child who had never had the opportunity to do that. The program is designed to make kids stronger by facing the fact of the Holocaust, but facing it in a way that they feel that they're doing something to lift up the history that is their inheritance.
For Rabbi Sam, this is the essence of Judaism. It's a civilization that is discovering itself, that is in the process of becoming, a view of history that is not fatalistic, but the first civilization believing that human beings shape history.
So now the program is being done all over the world, and I think at this point 17,000 kids have done this, hundreds and hundreds of congregations.
One of the things I love about the Bay Area is that we have many risk-taking, daring, brave, and artistic rabbis. And I'm very lucky to know a lot of them and to study with them and to have seen a lot of their experiments.
My wife points out to me that I spend way too much time doing stuff out of the box, way more time than I get paid for, to do stuff out of the box, because that's where the fun is for me. And in California, every time I've wanted to do that, there's been a space opened up culturally to give that a try.
So I think the idea of spiritual experimentation is, there's no place like the Bay Area for it.
I'm blessed to know other people who live from that same place of saying, here's a place where we can give something a try and something that means something to us, and we may succeed, we may fail, but we're not judged by other people for the attempt. And when we succeed, the rewards of the success are there. That's a very special kind of environment that nurtures and fosters that way of living. And that's what I love about being here.